Bacon grease. Bacon grease. One more time. Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said today, there will be no BGST podcast today. But or tomorrow. This is a topic we're going to most likely talk about again now. Now listen, I've been, how you say, pretty sure of some things. Hold on one second. In the past, let me put this up right here. Let me turn this off. Hey, when I start the show, we have the actual podcast playing in the background. Let me get the volume up on the podcast. Hold on one second. Like I said, I've been sure of some things because I've been told some things not going forward, in the past about Microsoft and Sony releasing new hardware. And I told you guys they were more than just a slim. Not gonna go back into that whole spiel again. But now there are some more reports coming out. And I don't know how true this is or can be, but comparing the Neo to the Scorpio, the PlayStation 4, Sony is at a big major disadvantage in terms of power and performance, because that's been Sony's whole stick this generation going forward. Hey, we're the most powerful, yada yada yada, and where they were able to lean back on quote unquote the multiplats, the third party to carry the system when there weren't many exclusive for the PlayStation 4. Now, going forward in the future, it looks like that's not going to be the case. Of course, at a minimum, the Xbox Scorpio, and I've heard other things. I'm not going to say much now, but at a minimum, that console, it's going to be 6 teraflops. Could be more. Just say that. Just say that I was, afforded some things also. That a minimum. Just talking about on the GPU side of things. Not talking about the CPU and all other stuff. Just on a minimal. There's some rumors going around that the Xbox Scorpio may be more powerful than 6 teraflops. We're going to leave there. I'm not going to delve too much into that. So now some new reports are coming out that Sony is looking to do 2 SKUs. Now, I've also heard this. They were looking to do 2 SKUs of the PlayStation 4 Neo. Now there's something new added to this. But I seen the specs of the said console, say 3.5 months ago. Then I seen them again, but not. I seen different documents from another developer, a smaller developer, a little while later on, but it wasn't as detailed and got more into the juice and stuff of what Sony was, expecting, or not even expecting what their objective was, and what they wanted standard for the quote unquote the PlayStation 4 Neo. So going forward, like I still was saying, there's a lot of things in the end of the day that I didn't say for legal standpoints, and it was told to me not to say, just to, leave it alone. Like I said, if you go back and look to what I was previously saying about the Neo, just think about playing the game in low settings and high settings. I said that I was talking about that. Then a week later, after that, I believe it was a Eurogamer or probably one of them came out and said that there were going to be 2 mode: the base mode and Neo mode. It was told to me by a certain person, don't come out there and say the Neo mode is. And it is. I'm not trying to make one lose their job. First of all, I would never tell anyway. But at the end of the day, and I just don't want to. I don't want a lot of the problems that comes along with that. Like I was giving. Like I said, sometimes I'm just giving things to me in my inbox on Twitter. Some people I know, some people I don't know. Sometimes, and get me wrong, sometimes a lot of times leaks and stuff come from above from Microsoft and Sony to get the buzz going. Like I said, and they want, YouTube channels to talk about it because we are free advertising for them. You understand what I'm saying? But a lot of times I may have to see a blank document or something, a vanilla folder with a whole bunch of information inside. And it's up to me if I want to go further and talk about it. Like I was given the Xbox One price cut. I was talking about a week before Microsoft announced it. Came out to be true also with the Titanfall. But it's a lot. Just again, I'm not stroking my ego. I'm just telling you, little things, certain things I'm afforded. Now this new rumor I haven't heard anything about. I'm gonna say that right there. And to be fair and to be honest, I don't go asking for things. If something if they want to tell me something, fine, I'm all ears. Just follow what I'm saying. I don't go asking and probing. I'm not like motherfucking Peter Parker at the Daily Bugle. You know what I mean? Or what's Clark Kent? Was it Clark Kent? This is the Daily Bugle. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know, if I'm just a fly on the wall a lot of times, you know what I mean? So I'm afforded a lot of information. Some of these Skype calls or parties and stuff that I be in. Cool. Now, with that out of the way. So now it's coming out now of that Sony's looking to ship 2 versions of the PlayStation 4 Neo. And the second version is so they won't be as skimped or as, you know, in terms of power compared to the Scorpio. Now, I'm just going by just numbers. I don't know how children can be. Mind you, when I said, the reason why I say this is because the PlayStation 4 Neo comes out in October, September. And it's to, you know, go along with the quote unquote the PlayStation VR. Now, according to the specs and stuff that I've seen before, Sony wasn't set on the quote unquote on the CPU. They may you know, overclock the CPU. But here's the thing: like when I was telling you guys before, when both Microsoft and Sony, when they're working on hardware, they just don't say, "Hey, bad." They don't pull Nintendo and say, "Hey, this is what we got. What you can do with it." If you look back at the Project Scorpio's reveal, and they was talking when all the developers talking, they said they listened to the gamers, of course, and they went to third parties, you know, to their partners, and you know, what were their visions? And of course, developers always want more power to push the envelope in their ideas. They're artists at the end of the day, right? So, according to the stuff and stuff they read, Sony wasn't set on quote unquote the CPU, that they may overclock the CPU or use a slightly beefier CPU. But like I said, when it comes to R&D, this takes a while, about a year and a half, 2 years, to, you know, figure what specs they're going to, what chip they're going to use, make sure that chip doesn't overheat inside the box. They don't want the box too big. So like I said, it goes into that. So it's not like Sony can come up at the last minute and say, God damn, Microsoft was coming out with 6 teraflops, and they say, you know what, we're going to put a beefier GPU in there, right? A GPU in there. But again, you have to make sure that GPU doesn't overheat the box and a whole bunch of other shit. So you're basically going to throw away 2 years of R&D to say, you know what, at the last minute, we're going to flip the switch, put a more powerful GPU in it. If that's the case, when the Xbox One got announced and the PS4 got announced in 2013, and it was made known that Sony, what Sony did was they had the dev kits with the same, with, you know, the same specs, whatever. But normally on a dev kit, you have double the amount of RAM. So their dev kits had actually 8 gigs of GDDR5 RAM. So the consensus was that Sony only had 4 gigs of RAM for their next console. Come to find, they really did have 8. So that was something that they kept hush until the last minute. And when you enter launch games again, they're not fucking maxing the console out. They're not. Again, so now they're saying, let me get down to here to what they're saying, that Sony is going to release 2 SKUs. Let me get here. It says here, Sony and Microsoft have been rumored to be working on hardware revisions for the current generation of consoles for a while, and that the latter has indeed confirmed. So the latter has indeed confirmed that all the leaks and insider reports during its E3 2016 media briefing by announcing Project Scorpio and so-called Xbox Slim model shipper early in August have been right thus far. Let's get down to where it says Sony. Okay. Sony, the Japanese platform holder, didn't reach E3 with its rumored PlayStation 4 Neo hardware upgrade, although they officially admitted they've been working a week before that they were working on said console. Looking at what Sony said so far, the PlayStation 4 Neo is representing a step forward in comparison to the PlayStation 4, the platform for the hardcore gamers. It was defined by the SIE, Sony, whatever folks, CEO, Andrew House, a machine which is granting a superior graphics quality and performance to everyone who really care about frame rate, graphics, and resolution. Okay, we're lucky enough to have a chat with an anonymous source. Here we go. Anonymous source familiar with the matter, and he confirmed this idea, stating that the PlayStation 4 Neo is shipping in 2 different fashions as some sort of last-minute decision to better face at least both the Xbox One S and Project Scorpio next year. Our source didn't go into specifics details when talking about the first model specs, which could ship at $499 price tag, but provided a series of interesting details about the most powerful PlayStation 4 Neo version. And I'm thinking this version right here will be the one with the beefier CPU. Sony itself thinks that the price is too high, and indeed trying to understand if it can do something in order to get it lower for the first and less powerful model. This could ship alongside with an enhanced CPU rather than coming along with a both CPU and GPU upgrade for the purpose. So basically saying the most powerful model should release with a whopping $599 price tag, $600, and that will be launched next year. The same price tip for the Scorpio as well, and support 2 GPUs for a 5.5 teraflops output, about 0.5 teraflops less than what's rumored to be in the Project Scorpio. So they're saying here that Sony is going to launch another console next year alongside of the alongside of the Xbox Scorpio, and this one here is going to be at 5.5 teraflops. Now, again, this doesn't make any fucking sense to me. This here is pulling a fucking Sega. You're doing too fucking much. You're going to put out one this year, you're fucking basically shooting yourself in your foot. Whatever you decide to go on. Like I said, Sony's already spreading itself thin with far as R&D for this new hardware. They heavily invested into the PlayStation 4 Neo, and they're also heavily invested into the PlayStation VR. I understand that, Sony has a lot of failing business, and I'm not even talking about their money and stuff. This video is not about that. But the PlayStation Vision is the only thing that's really keeping Sony afloat. Keeping Sony, the whole business afloat, is the PlayStation department. Now, like I said, making new consoles and shit costs a lot of money for R&D. Now they're talking about another console with a dual GPU. Now, I don't know if this, again, is just some fanboy banter. To me, it doesn't make any fucking sense. And again, I'm not just saying it because I want Microsoft to have the more powerful console, but that's like, come on, a goddamn slap in the face. You're going to put out a PS4 Neo this year, then put out a more powerful one again next year. That doesn't make any fucking sense. So if you're going to do that, again, just put off, which again, you still wasted money because all that money you spent in R&D for the last 2 years, put off the releasing the PlayStation 4 Neo this year, release it next year. Then I don't see putting out 2 fucking models again, but they need the PlayStation 4. I'm gonna say this again. They need the PlayStation 4 Neo to run the PlayStation VR effectively the way it's meant to be ran. You know what I mean? Also, I've heard this too, that there are reports are coming out that the PlayStation VR ran like shit at Sony's, presser thing. People were making people sick. The frame rate was all over the fucking place. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. But they're saying this model right here will cost $599 and have 2 GPUs. Still not as powerful as the Scorpio, but not that big of a gap like it was. We're talking about a half a teraflop at minimum. So they're saying if these if the minimum specs for the Xbox Scorpio is indeed, like I told you guys before, I've heard some others chatter about. I'm not going to go into it too much now. That the Scorpio may indeed be actually more beefier than 6 teraflops. That's just the low end. You know what I mean? Microsoft is lowballing it right now. You know what I mean? Something that I heard. Can't say that it's true, but it's something that I heard. You know what I mean? So what I've told you, I can come out and say this. When it comes to hardware, it's something I've been telling you guys for the last 5 months. When it comes to hardware going forward, Sony would never have the upper hand on Microsoft again. Never. Now you see what and the reason why I'm telling you this, you see how Microsoft is hammering home the narrative of 4K gaming. True 4K gaming. You know what I mean? Not upscale. Because going with the specs of the PlayStation 4 Neo, it can output at 1440p and probably most likely be upscaled to somebody's inboxing me. 1440p and be upscaled to 4K. But Microsoft is saying native 4K from the jump. You know what I mean? So. Like I said, at the end of the day, I don't know. You know what I mean? I think it'll be a little. And again, I'm not saying this again because I'm an Xbox guy. I'm just saying it doesn't make any sense. You're putting out 3 consoles in 4 fucking years. Like goddamn. You got the Neo, the fucking the Neo Super and and again, so what is the like? I don't know. Like I said, to me that just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. Now I can see that maybe pissing some gamers off. Like, God damn, I just bought the Neo this year. I didn't go out and buy a Super Neo the following year. Now I can see some people being pissed off with that right there. I'm just saying if Sony's thinking about doing this, which I don't know if they can, it's kind of too late in the game, to go back and change any goddamn thing. Maybe you can overclock the CPU a little bit, because like I said, they didn't spend about 2 years on the R&D on this goddamn thing. Getting the chips inside the box, everything is running cool, ain't nothing overheating, yada yada yada. You know what I mean? All that shit takes time and fucking money. You know what I mean? Just say, you know what? Oh man, the last minute, my competitor has has updated specs, more updated specs than us. And you listen to what Phil said. They said they could have did what Sony did and put out a slightly beefier, like the Neo, not slightly. That is a big step up. Like the Neo this year, but they wanted true native 4K gaming and the chips and the technology that they wanted to use to achieve that before the first consoles wouldn't have been ready until next year. So I told you, it's the time when these companies said they have the contract to make the 10 nanometer chips for a major company, gaming company or whatever. So, well, Microsoft came out and said it. That was coming out in 2017. Now, if you go back again, if you look at my video, and I was telling you that the Xbox, whatever the hell, was launching in 2017. And you guys, again, some of you guys shrugged it off and said, you know what the hell I was talking about. Like, again, I'm not claiming to be no industry insider, but, is, like I say, where there's smoke, there's fire. Not, but fuck it. I've been fucking spot on. I haven't lied to anyone. I've told you guys, what it was and what it is. If you choose to believe it, some of you motherfuckers are still in denial. For whatever reason, I don't know. You know what I mean? Some people still coming out and saying that the PS4 Neo is just going to be a 4K streaming device like the Xbox S. So like I get some of these comments all, and I'll be reading these shit like, "Your motherfuckers is wild. Y'all motherfuckers is bugging." You know what I mean? But like I said, PSVR is slated to ship this year. You know what I mean? And again, Sony needs the PlayStation 4 Neo to go with the PlayStation VR to make the thing. Listen to this right here. Check out this now. Remember when Sony showed off the PlayStation 4 VR experience? I think it was last December or something. And those games, we also looked like shit. They ran like shit. They looked like PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 games, right? Now we just see this year's E3, and again, Sony showed off the PlayStation VR, and those games that they showed off look like PlayStation. They look like next generation games. You know what I mean? They look like next generation games. Why? Because that was because of the PlayStation 4 Neo. But fuck what Sony was saying. And, oh no, the Sony, the Neo won't be at E3. They're fucking lying. They're like, stop it. I've been told, like I said, I like I said the other day, so if somebody said, who's going to believe you next gen, or they're going to believe you? See, I don't give a fuck what you believe. But like I said, the people that told me are fucking. I'm not talking about I'm talking about major third-party people. You know what I mean? I'm talking about Grand Theft Auto type of people, like they make Grand Theft Auto. Fuck, they had no reason to lie. Like, I mean, got in the papers that I read, and I've been fucking with these same troops for about the last 2.5 years. At the end of the day, the same people that told me about the Rec X12 when I told you guys about it, and you guys said I was lying, I was anything but a child guy back then. I told you guys that shit months before Microsoft announced the Rec X12 at GDC 2014. But shall I digress? But anyway, let me go to the comment section here. Let me go right now. Look here. Here's the thing right here. First of all, I may ask the question right before I get the hell about it. So, if Sony does release a PlayStation 4 Neo this year and come out with a beefier version, or 1 teraflop faster, or more 1 teraflop, a teraflop and a half maybe more powerful the following year, what would you do? Would you still buy the Neo this year? And get one next year? How do you guys feel about that? Chubby, what's good, bro? Farrell said, when is the Xbox going to die? That's my question. What type of shit is that, bro? You want the Xbox to die? So you want Sony to be the only Sony and Nintendo to be the only jokers in town? Like why? Like I don't understand most people just staying for another company or publisher. Like you buy what the fuck you want. I just know now. I think it's funny as hell that you Sony guys are not going to push that narrative about we got the world's most powerful console and games, and I think it's crazy now. Now the narrative is switching from because this whole generation has been about resolution and frames and yada yada yada. Now y'all guys are talking about games. Nah, fuck that. We're gonna talk about power. You know what I mean? My mind thing is play what you like, buy what you like, though. Nah, hey Thanos, I beg to agree. I beg to differ with that. It's not about I'm saying 6 it comes down to the games. And guess what? The same narrative, and I'm gonna say this again, multi-plats rule. Something that I've always said. That's what carried the 360 last generation because it had the better version of the multi-plats. And that's what carried the PlayStation 4 this generation. It had the better version of the multi-plats. Now going forward, the Scorpio will have the better version of the multi-plats. It's gonna be 4K native for everything. You know what I mean? And like I said again, 4K televisions are not that expensive either. They're very cheap. You can go out and get your motherfucking a 4K Vizio for about $400-500. Streets of Rage has been a good price, and I really like it. Let me see here, but so let me ask you questions. Some of you Sony, well, some of you guys that may be buying the Neo this year. Would you be pissed off if Sony releases another version of the Neo the following year? And if I think that if Sony does do that, and it's not that they're trying to close the power gap with the Scorpio, I just think that that's getting like the way of Sega that was doing, just releasing goddamn consoles. Like now that's coming to confusing the goddamn consumer. You know what I mean? I don't get that whatsoever. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, but that's Sony. But me. I'm a faggot that loves gadgets. I'll buy a fucking Neo this year and probably get the fucking more powerful one next year. But that's me though. You know what I mean? That's not taking, like I said, what I can afford. But the average Joe Smo ain't gonna do no shit like that. You know what I mean? Thank you, Titan, for Princess for wishing me a happy Father's Day. Let me see right here. In my opinion, Sony just leave the PS4 Neo in alone and 3-4 come out with the PS5. Christopher put in his opinion, Sony just leave the Neo alone and 3 to 4 years come out with something new. And again, I'm gonna say this again, and for Sony and Microsoft going forward, every 3 years or so, look for new console iteration of the same platform. I don't know if we're gonna be in generations anymore. You know what I mean? I don't. But I can tell you right now, who's really fucked to me, in my honest opinion, I think Nintendo's really gonna get squeezed out this generation. Because it's going by what Ubisoft said, so they're going after the consumers that didn't upgrade to the Wii U after that Wii fan base. And then Reggie's saying that he's going to leave, that Nintendo's going to leave Microsoft and Sony out there to fight out over the teraflops. Like they still don't fucking get it. You know what I mean? I was looking at Dr. Trey's video, and he said, "What are you the guys panicking for? At a minimum, the Nintendo NX is going to be on par with the PlayStation 4, to where the PS4 is out right now." And if you don't think that's a fucking problem that a console is releasing in 2017 that's on par with a console that came out, 4 years prior, 4-year-old fucking technology, like, come on, like, goddamn, and again, and that's Nintendo's, I guess, main fan base or whatever the case. I blame them for the condition that Nintendo is in right now. You know what I mean? So, but out of the two, I think, it's Sony that's it's Nintendo that's really quote unquote fuck, you know what I mean? I don't know, my mouse is buck. I go through more mouse and keyboards. I don't know what the hell, man. Yeah, Nintendo's tripping hard, crazy. Nintendo is a virus that won't go away. They've been in business for 100 years, and I think that shit is finally coming to withdraw. Listen, I don't think Nintendo's will close their doors. And people will say, you know what, Nintendo needs to go third party and put their games on other platforms. I don't really give a fuck about Nintendo games. I'm just being real. Like I don't care for Mario, Zelda, and all that stuff. It's not a big deal to me. Again, I said to say this. I think if the Nintendo NX bombs out again, because it's a business and it's all about making money, we probably will see some of their games on other platforms. I'm not looking forward to it, but shit, they got to stay afloat. They might do pull a Sega. They can't just have two fucking flops back to back. Because, like I said, they haven't learned from their mistakes. The Wii U, before Nintendo not trying to compete. They put out a console in 2012, which was their next generation offering that was on par or slightly more powerful than what came out the generation before. So and actually the Wii U wasn't the 360 and the PS3 competition. The Wii U was the PS4s and the Xbox One competition. And look at that system and compares the power and specs compared to those. You know what I mean? You put it on a console, they couldn't get any third-party support. Can't run any multiplayer like The Witcher 3 and all that other stuff. So yeah, that is the problem. It makes Zaco, man. I can't even talk. I can't even take you serious until you get your PlayStation 4, bro. You make no fucking sense. You know what I mean? He think with Microsoft putting their own games in their own store is something wrong. Let me tell you something. And this is not even so much an Xbox versus PlayStation video. Sony wish there was as good as business as Microsoft. You know what I mean? Trust me, if Sony had that avenue to make a more revenue on their games, they would do so. That's the same why Sony put their IPs on Samsung televisions, on LG televisions. You know what I mean? It's like you guys forget that narrative. Well, that's just PS3 games. There's not PS4 games, but nothing stops them from putting PS4 games on a fucking on their television. Like there's nothing stops them from doing that. You know what I mean? Like you guys always tell me like they change the fucking narrative. It's business. That show only matters in this quote unquote this fake ass garbage ass console war that you motherfuckers like to fight and talk shit over the internet. Like you know, motherfucker, play what you play, like what you like. I don't give a fuck. I play everything. I don't play everything, but I buy everything. You know what I mean? I don't limit my, you know what? Fuck that. I can only afford a PlayStation, so I'm gonna hate everything Xbox more. That's the silliest shit ever, man. Don't get me wrong. I'll bleed green to the death of me until there's nothing left of me. I'm an Xbox dude through and through. You know what I mean? And the PlayStation shit just for the exclusives that I do like. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. But most of you die hard Sony dudes, like, you know what? Instead of saying, you know what, damn, I'm a gamer, you won't buy a game because you know what? Because it's on a viable platform. Like you don't want to get that company a sell because you're gonna lose. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Like I'm really about to start shredding you weirdos the fuck up, man. Like I ain't on go so this shit just silly as hell to me, man. Play game on what you like, bro. You know what I mean? Shit. You can't tell me another man, somebody making more money is a bad move. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. If it's a play, and I can give a fuck about Sony's money, and I can give a fuck about Microsoft money. But there's no downside to that. But if a said company can make more money of their own on their own IPs, who the fuck what? I don't give a fuck. It doesn't interfere the way that I play my games. I am a console dude. I don't give a fuck about PCs. I don't. I wasted my fucking money on 3 fucking rigs. I was just telling my wife just now to hook my fucking computer up because my Mac is bugging. And then bought me a fucking 4K monitor or get me like a little like a 32-inch. I don't even know if Vizio makes 32-inch 4K televisions, but I know they got a 42-inch or something, like $400 or some shit. Put that bitch on my desk and hook my PC up to the bench. And but the only thing I like, when I'm streaming, I'm looking at porn and shit, PCs get a lot of fucking viruses fucking with that. So I'm probably always gonna have me a Mac or something, I guess, right? I don't know. You know what I mean? But anyway, this is your boy, motherfucking Next Gen 720. And also, 216 fucking, I gotta give credit where credit's due. I didn't think that the Xbox S would do so well. That motherfucker's selling extremely well on Amazon. That motherfucker was sold out. I'm like, damn, I didn't think it would do that well. Like I said, I will admit when I'm wrong, man. You know what I mean? The bitches picked the Neo in 2017. I bet money on it. Oh my god. So don't get me wrong. Things change. This is business. Things change all the time. But what I read, no, this console's coming out this year to go. And the only way, I'm gonna say this. I'm saying it now. The only reason, I won't even say 2017 because they want to get a year jump on Microsoft. Because here's the thing: you got $400. Right? You walk into a store. You can buy an Xbox Scorpio for say $500, or you can, and that's more powerful than the Neo, or you're gonna buy Elite. It doesn't make any sense. So Sony wants to get a year, start on Scorpio and Microsoft, to build install base with no competition on the market. That's smart. You know what I mean? Like again, if you already spent 2 years on fucking You already spent 2 years on fucking doing the due diligence on the Neo, the R&D, making shit don't over the heat, what chips to use. Like that's just not something that's done in a week or 2 weeks. That shit takes a while. You know what I mean? So you're throwing all that shit. You know what I mean? Sony got to make that money back, bro. This is business, man. You know what I mean? So you know about those chips that was coming out in 2017, but that's not their narrative. They like listen, you got that shit right there. You know it's going to cost a lot. Sony doesn't, but you know, I'm not going to go into that shit. But you know what, Kenny? Yes, but like I said, they do. I don't see it happening, especially according to what I read and what I've been told. Speaking to certain other people, you know what I mean. And the VR is coming this year, and they need those two to go side by side together for those units to, you know, to work well and look well. Like I said, Sony got a lot riding on this. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. But anyway, this is your boy Next Gen 720. And my mouse, like I said, is bugging. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with my mouse. I don't know what. Let me see. Oh, escape. There we go. I don't know what the hell is going on here. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on with this mouse. Hold on. I can't even get the fuck out of here. Yes, baby. 1 second, leave it. I'm trying to shut up the show. I can't even shut up the show. So let me keep talking. We having some technical difficulties back here, man. There we go. Wait, how the fuck I get up? All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, here we go. Here we go. I figured it out. So before I go, last thing I'm gonna say. So rumored has it that Sony will be releasing a new PlayStation 4 Neo next year to go ahead and up with Microsoft with the Xbox Scorpio that that will only be 0.5 times less powerful than it said Scorpio. Still not as powerful, but I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I think if that is the case, that is the dumbest shit ever. But that's just me, man. This is your boy Next to 720. Bang bang.